Hi, friends. This is your pal, Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about American politics, and we are going to talk about not a third party, but replacing the second of the two parties in America. Excuse me. Okay, so let's get into this. Yeah, we've arrived here. So first of all, I want to talk about why I'm talking about this. So I watched Ezra Klein's show, the Ezra Klein Show. It's a podcast hosted by the New York Times. Whew. I have to say, I'm really astounded that Ezra Klein could be hired by the New York Times. He's so outrageously liberal. He's so left. And like, if you're a newspaper, like, don't you even gesture at objectivity? Like, he's so in the weeds for the Democrats, and it's astonishing. It's really astonishing. But he did this podcast. It's on right here on YouTube. Highly recommend watching it. It blew me away. I was stunned by like half the things they said in it. But it was called Democrats Need to Face Why Trump Won. And it's just, it is a complete come to Jesus. Like Ezra Klein, hyper liberal, like just dyed in the wool, Birkenstock, Tesla, just every single, vegan, every Democrat signal, right? So Ezra Klein gets in there, and he does, but he's super liberal. But through this whole thing, he's like, we got roasted, people. We got absolutely roasted. And now we're on the other side, and the whole, and we're past day 50, right? Like we're getting 60, 70 days in, and the Democrats don't even have any idea how to fight, right? So not only did we get completely busted, right? Like defeated in every possible way in the election. Now we're at the fight part, and the Democrats aren't even close, right, to getting a plan together, to getting unified, to moving forward and showing that there's any hope of actually winning ever, like, right? And that's why we're talking today. The Democrats are straight cooked, man. Their edges are crispy. They are done. Call it a wrap. Right, the Democrats they're not in trouble. They are cooked, absolutely cooked. And I will say, so one, I voted for Obama twice. Okay, I voted for Andrew Yang in 2020. Right, was that right? Andrew Yang in 2020? Yeah, right. And, so I consider myself, I've been on the Democrat side, but I eagerly voted for Trump in this election. And the reason why was I just couldn't endure it. I could not endure another 4 years of rising crime, rising war, rising inflation. I just couldn't. No one could vote for it. Everybody was like, there's no way. We can't endure another 4 years of this. We can't endure pretending that Biden is an actual president, or that he's actually reading any documents or signing any documents, that he's actually a functional leader. We can't pretend any longer that the country isn't completely shattered and broken. Like we can't pretend anymore, And so basically we finally arrived, right? And here's the kicker. My vote for Donald Trump, I didn't vote for Donald Trump, right? I voted to brutally punish the Democrats, right? And I got it, right? But I will tell you, it's almost too hard, right? Like the Democrats are being punished, but I didn't expect it to be this deep, right? And honestly, I'll tell you right now, I don't think any of the Republicans knew that they were going to beat the Democrats this hard. So let's get into it. How hard did they beat the Democrats? This is pretty astounding, right? We beat the Democrats so hard that you and I can now have this conversation. Okay, now, first of all, I voted for Andrew Yang in 2020. I loved him. I thought he was a great candidate, and he ran as a Democrat and lost. But since then, he's come out as a third-party candidate. And for a long time, there's been this idea that we could bring about a third party. American politics is never going to allow a third party. It's just not. It's not going to happen, right? It, yeah, it's possible 50, 100 years, but certainly not in my lifetime. There's just no possibility that it is going to happen in my lifetime, right? It just is not going to happen in my lifetime. So, but this devastation of the Democrat Party is so significant, so dramatic, that what I think could happen is right now, there is a 4-year window. Right now, there is a 4-year window. And listen to this. You could just sweep the Democrats aside and replace them with a second party. America could have its two-party system, which it is not going to change, not for 50 to 100 years minimum. There is absolutely no possibility that I will be a third-party candidate within my lifetime. Absolutely none, right? And that I'm kind of, that's why I'm saying it too. Like, if I ain't gonna have it in my lifetime, I don't care about it, right? Like, whatever, right? And I'm not that unusual. A lot of people, like, have you guys noticed, like, environmentalism was completely crushed at this point? Nobody cares about environmentalism. They're like, go eat your hummus and drive your stupid e-car. You're just an Elon stan. Nobody cares about you, right? Like, environmentalism completely crushed, completely done. In fact, in this video, Ezra Klein's like, man, I don't think, environmentalism is really resonating with anybody anymore. And the other guy was like, yeah, that's right. There were so many things where Ezra Klein was like, would say this incredibly shocking thing, and he'd be like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the whole world's flipped over right now. So this is my point. I think we've arrived at a point where we have a 4-year window, and a different group of Americans could come together and could form a replacement party, not a third party, a replacement party, and the Democrats could go away forever, like never to return, right? That's how bad Donald Trump beat the Democrats. And so now there's a couple ramifications of this. So first of all, should that happen? That's a very valid question. So one, that is a completely fair question. In that that is a very fair question to ask, right? Should we keep the I think the answer is no. I'm so furious at what happened between 2020 and 2024. I suffered horrible crime, right? Like, I suffered under crime between 2020 and 2024. Just abominable crime, worse than I had ever seen in my entire life, right? And the loss really vexed me, right? It made me incredibly desirous of the punishment of the Democrat Party, which that punishment has been delivered. That punishment has been thoroughly, fully delivered. I got exactly what I voted for, right? So I think, yeah, like, I'd be totally okay with the Democrat. The other thing is, the Democrat Party, here's why they deserve to no longer exist. Absolutely, horribly, I'm an evangelical Christian. I'm so sorry. There's just no other way to say this. They screwed Bernie to the wall. It was so bad. It was horrible what they did to Bernie Sanders. And that's one of the takeaways from this election is people are like, yo, man, we had a real candidate, and you guys shoved that ridiculous non-winner, Hillary Clinton on us. And everybody's like, man, we had a moment. We could have had Bernie as president. And I'm not a Bernie bro, but I know a lot of them, and they were right. They really jammed him to the wall. That is, there should be heck to pay for that. And the destruction of the entire Democrat Party for that seems just to me, right? In addition to also Andrew Yang cut his mic, treated him horribly, very, very prejudiced treatment of Andrew Yang and many other very, very good candidates to prop up Biden. It was absolutely abominable. It's so unfair. Yeah, I'm totally down for the complete destruction, virtual destruction of the Democrat Party. I'd be very happy if we never had to see another Democrat candidate as long as I live. I'd be completely okay with that. All right. So with that said, and I voted for him 3 times, right? Okay. Like, yeah. All right. With that said, what do we replace it with? Well, that's a good question, and I think that we should start having this conversation right now, right? And I'll give you my idea. We don't have to make the replacement party stand for this, but I think this would be good. So what would it be? What you have the Republicans, you have the Democrats. What would the new party, what would the replacement party be? Well, I think the replacement party should be called 50. 50. Why would we call it that? Good question. All right. Right now, we have 50 states, okay? Where I want to go is 50%. I think that America should own 50% of the land on the earth. We should be 50% of the land on the earth. And that literally, I would say like 20 to 50 other countries, let's keep the number simple here. 20 to 40 other countries in America 20 to 40 other countries in the world. There's about 180 countries in the whole world. So 20 to 60 countries in the world should be immediately absorbed by America, bloodlessly. That's where the Democrat part comes in, right? I'd be more than happy to do this, knives out, boots on the ground, slugs up, let's get it done, right? I'd be more than happy to see bloodshed for this, right? But the Democrats are a useful group of people. They're a terrible party, but they're a useful group of people, right? They're not everybody on the Democrat side is bad, right? And I was on the Democrat side for a while, right? During all the years of Obama, I voted for him twice, right? So basically, this is where the Democrat part would come in, is we would use statecraft to actually absorb nations all over the world and say, listen, you ridiculous scrub nations, you got ridiculous leadership, you eat dirt, like you guys are, you're not good nations, right? Like, your leadership sucks, your currency sucks, your culture sucks. Get good, right? Just come get absorbed into America. We'll put a Starbucks on this corner, a McDonald's on that corner, and we'll repeat it all the way down Main Street, right? Like, right? Do you want video games and like $6 coffee and good stuff in your nation, or do you want to just continue to suck, right? And like I said that a little bit harshly. The Democrats are good at spin. Well, you know what? Actually, that's the whole point. You can't spin nothing anymore. Spin is not working. Spin is not working. It really isn't, right? So the reality is, we could just say it. Say, listen, your country sucks. Canada, right? I'm like, come on, let's stop pretending. You got to, come on, right? We got fuel reserves. You guys have a syrup reserve, right? You're a joke. You should be absorbed into America, right? And just have these conversations and say, listen, you want to start saving up fuel so you can sell it to other nations, or you want to keep saving up syrup? Like, do you want to actually be a real country, right? And actually, you're not going to be a country. You're just going to be like more states for us, right? But we could go and we could have just conversation after conversation after conversation. Even Russia, right? We're like, listen, Vladimir, you're going to get slick in the middle of the night. Your people, man, you've been, you've killed half the young men in your country. I mean, you just going to, somebody going to do the deed, right? You're just going to die alone in your bed, right? Like, why not just, but things are going great. You and Trump are all the besties, right? Why don't you just make all of Russia just American states? Done, right? Huge tracts of land for America. Bloodless, right? So this could be a great and this is a great idea, right? Because this gets rid of all those terrible issues that the Democrats continue to lose them. Nobody cares about climate change, right? Nobody cares about and the other thing is, people do, and I do. I care about marginalized groups, right? But the Democrats don't represent marginalized groups anymore. Let's stop pretending, right? Marginalized groups are like, oh, people of color. They're like, oh, we'll definitely do better under Trump than under Democrats. That happened. That is real, right? They talked about it on that Ezra show, right? Ezra talked to this survey data guy, and he's like, hey, man, people of color males, they voted for Trump. Done, right? So marginalized groups, right? It's a great moral issue, but you can't win on it. You can't win on it, right? They just lost on it, right? And also one of the issues too is everybody's like, well, we'd love for you to represent us as marginalized group, but it looks like you're actually representing marginalized groups that have transitioned into highly privileged groups, right? That you're pretending are marginalized groups. And then there are marginalized groups that genuinely need your help, and they're not even in line, right? Like they're not even remotely near the front of the line. They're like 10th or 12th back, right? So even the marginalized group representation, which the Democrats do, they suck at it. They suck so bad that it's not a legitimate stand for them, right? So what I'm saying, going from 50 states to 50% of the land on the earth, right? That could be huge. That could be transformative. That could be real, right? And it's something that can get people from the Republican side and can get people from the Democrat side. That's a real plan, right? That's something real, right? Whereas, have you heard a real plan from the Democrats? Like Ezra Klein and this survey data guy, these guys have like 6 degrees between the three, between the two of them, right? These guys are brilliant, right? No plans, nothing. Wild. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider subscribing and have a fetch millennium.